ladies. Hi, here we are. Episode 6.
Boom.
Wow.
Mom proof.
Impressive.
Have we mastered the art of being comfortable with the uncomfortable?
No.
No. That's why we're in episode 6. We'll thank our friends and family again for tuning in. We appreciate you guys.
Well, they're happy to live with us.
I know.
Witness it like, oh,
They're probably really
snap.
grateful that we are having these sessions.
Event / therapy.
Yeah. When we're at home, we're
therapy on
super
air.
managing.
Oh, man.
Not even.
I don't
At
know about
home.
you guys. I look forward to it.
Oh, God, I do too.
Oh, our
Yeah.
episode.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is fun.
Oh, my God.
I hope we don't get to that. Well, I don't know. You know, I love those TikToks and where women like just put a song on and they start dancing and they have 1 million views. I'm like, dang. Okay, that was
That's
good for the soul right
That's
there.
right. Good one.
So, okay,
We'll do
with
that in one of the
said,
episodes.
what do we do to make sure that our kids have little nuggets of stuff that's good for the soul, right? I mean, I know they're crazy on social media, but coming from mom and dad or at home, I think I'm gonna write little Post-it notes or send my other kids text to make sure they send her a text while she's at school. That's so
that's a
helicopter
good one.
parenting.
That is
Don't
a little
do that. Somebody tell me
baited me
not
in.
to
I was
do
like,
that.
"That's
I know, but
good."
it's a good idea to a certain extent until they're like, enough.
Yeah. How do you know, for example, I think of myself, I didn't have any of these tools that we discuss. And I feel like it forced me to grow up and find my way. So how do we know when too much, we're doing too much or we're giving too much information, you know? How do we know about that?
I think we know because they quit talking to us and they quit. And they just go, like, and it's not even an engaging conversation.
Yeah,
so they
you
will
take the cues, right?
Yeah, they'll tune you out. Just take the cue. Good one, thank you.
I think that loops back to the thousands of dollars of therapy that I've had because I just want to share it with others.
Yeah,
No,
what did you
kidding.
learn?
I don't know if what's really works. Different things for different kids. What I do know
Completely.
is that we're meant to give our kids that toolbox because we can't take away pain. We can't take away stress. We can't take away when you're being overwhelmed. I mean, they're adults. Our job is to make sure that they now feel these things, right?
Yep.
That's our job.
Yep.
You go
Experience.
learn what to do with it.
That's right.
Right.
But I keep feeling like I want to check their toolbox, right? Like, are you cool? Do you have everything you need in there?
Okay, so name 2 things each of us has we think that we've imparted in our kids in their toolbox. Like it could be social emotional, it could be, fundamental, whatever. Sewing. Okay, I just threw that one.
Ooh, that was good.
Sewing, yeah,
I
you
definitely
do
don't
need-
have that one.
I just said that. I think my
should
daughter
at least
sewed
know how to
something
make
for
a
herself.
hem.
She did. She sewed something. And I was like, what? I don't even know if I taught her that. I think it was my mom. And that's sweet.
Okay, wait, I can sew. I can
really?
sew, but
Okay, but is that really one in the toolkit that they need? Let's talk
Okay,
about
that's a good one.
Okay,
That's a good one.
I don't know if that one is imperative.
I would say one of my kids, well, lots deal with anxiety.
Yep.
Kids all over. That's a
Yep.
big topic of discussion and how anxious kids are in school. And I think one of the things that they really learn to have in their toolbox to know is when you are anxious, to stop and take those deep breaths. Know
breathing,
that
man.
it's just anxiety. It's not the end of the world. It's not
Nice,
that you can't
nice.
handle it. It will pass.
Yep.
But you need to stop and take those deep breaths. And it's really important for these kids to stop a minute. Do we remind them enough?
We don't. And I just want to say a brain part of that is it literally, I think most of us know the oxygen goes to the brain, takes them from the fight or flight mode and puts it back in the frontal lobe where they can think and relax. And so that's why breathing matters. Besides, we know it works like by science.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I have a question here then.
Now we go. Science.
So I had
Science.
never had a panic attack, and like you said, therapy, I read about it. I've had friends that have done it. And on Sunday, I had my first actual panic attack. And everything that people told me went right out the window.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. That's very vulnerable. Seriously.
No, but
Tell us
like I
more.
was thinking, like, what? So about these kids, we keep telling them breathe, do all these things, and all I kept thinking was, I don't know what to do. I feel lost. I started like being very worried about how I was going to get home because I wasn't at home. That I had to
that's
get in a
tough.
car. I mean, it lasted a few minutes, but I finally had to sit down and say, look around me and say, there's grass. Like
Oh, there it
repeating what I
is.
was seeing.
Yep.
But I was like, there's grass, there's a bench, I'm right here.
So you self-regulated yourself, which is really impressive, right? So that is a great tool you just said.
But then I thought, when I got back in the car, I was thinking all the things I've read, all the things I've heard.
That is
and it just all went out the window.
But you had never read about the name 5 things?
No. I was just trying to how do I focus on where I am?
Well, that is literally one of the best tools. So that's stinks that no one taught that, right? We are probably missing the boat on that.
Say it right now. If there are moms or dads out there that are dealing with kids that are anxious, no matter how old they are,
you do, besides breathing, besides talking about, contacting someone that might be able to talk with you, if you can do that, you would name 5 things you could see, 5 things you could hear, 5 things you can touch, 5 things you can smell. And the taste one is weird though, right? Because I can't figure, so those others.
May not work during COVID.
Right. But you're just basically doing what Sandra did, which is becoming hyper-focused on smell, sight, things you can touch, and it just brings you into the frontal lobe. So that's a really big one.
Well, I think I got that from Better Call Saul.
Wow.
There was an episode where he's having a panic attack and he was doing that.
I got to start watching that.
Oh, that is hilarious. But so good for parents to say that back out loud to their, that's a good toolkit.
Yeah. What else then? Name some other things. Like let's do ones that we already have or ones that you might think could be good
Well,
ones.
I think one is knowing that they can reach out, right? When things don't feel right, who are you going to call? Have someone that you call.
Right.
Who are
I
those
like that.
people?
Yep,
we have us. I'll call you. I'll call you.
Yeah. Text this. Call
Try not to really think that you have to figure it all out on your own. We talk about what's in the toolkit, all these things that you can do. But, and our kids are pretty good about this socially, is reaching out, calling your friend. I don't think that changes from teenager to 20s to 30s to here we are stuck in our 30s.
System, right?
Not really.
Right.
40s.
Yeah, I missed that. Whatever. That's a good one.
But really, right? Count on that support system.
System.
Do it.
And then also maybe teaching them that there's other outlets that they could have, working out or whatever their hobbies are, like play the guitar, listen to music, go on a walk, just kind of different things that they can do that will help them feel better.
So what if you're a parent, and this happens why people come see me, you're a parent, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not sure. Like my kid is fluctuating between these really overwhelming, stressing moments and so forth. And you just start to notice change of appearance, maybe change of behavior, eating less, eating too much. Are they sleeping? You're looking at those things I think we all know about. More than 2 weeks is usually a marker that it's a problem. But how do you know, is it something that you can just handle or you need professional help? What have you all done? Now, both of you have experience in this. So I would like to talk to people besides the therapist. Let's hear people
that really is, it's interesting from my standpoint because I've gone to the extreme of thinking that my kid needs to be in rehab because I can't parent enough to help them.
I know.
I am not the expert. Where does that line
That's tough.
happen? Where do you decide? I think one thing to really realize is that time matters. If they're not talking to you at all in a month, something's wrong.
After 2 weeks,
and I don't mean not at all, but
grunts.
an example would be if kids aren't getting up for school. I just don't feel good today. I just can't. I feel really
red
sick.
flag. Yes.
Yeah, over and over and
Yes.
over.
Avoidance behaviors.
Yes.
Let's just put it in a bigger category.
Yeah. That is.
That's what that
Thank you
is.
for saying that.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they weren't going to school because they had the C.
Right.
They couldn't take the test. They knew they weren't ready. And there the snowball
I may or may
begins.
not have that kid in my house right now.
I mean, I heard
Love you,
about
buddy.
those kind before.
But it wasn't me.
Yeah, love you, buddy.
Shaggy.
Well, so okay, so then you're in this situation, like you're saying. What did you do? You were able to get treatment. Are you telling us? I couldn't tell that you wish you hadn't?
No,
okay.
It's not that I wish I hadn't. I wish I had seen the signs sooner to be able to do something less drastic.
Boom, that was your first step versus
it's one of those, what's wrong? Are you okay? No, I'm fine. Okay.
Hey,
well, I
what do we
didn't know that language. I didn't know. Yeah.
Well, who does know that? I mean, Sandra, you like, that kind of reading. You write, so you're expressive. I'm a therapist, so that's an expressive thing. But if you're not in that field, You're in sales. You're going like, what's wrong? You're like, you're getting a business.
You know what? This goes back to paying attention. And I'm not, I don't think I'm experienced enough to call out any other parent on the planet. What I do know is some things I wish I'd done different is pay more attention at different times. So if that can be shared with someone else, I mean, here we are, Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Yes. Take a look.
Still
Stop.
May, baby.
Stop. Look in the mirror. Are you spending enough time with your kid?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you? Because time, we can't get it back.
Can't get it back.
Cannot get this back.
Right, because everybody's so busy.
Everyone's
We're all busy.
so busy. You're stressed out because you have grad parties to go to. You have I can't even name
parties,
it. Right?
Really what it is. Well, they have some programs at school they have to attend. Right? There's off campus times and so forth.
But then there's, I think, as a parent, sometimes you feel like you have to do everything or you have to fix everything.
Yeah.
Or at least I feel like that. And then sometimes you just need to call and look for somebody else for your child to speak to. It's not a sign of weakness.
Nice.
It's just a sign of, hey, you need some professional help. Because what I've learned is my opinion is very it's selfish. It's very focused on her because she's my daughter and I want to protect her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but maybe I'm not giving the best advice. And if she goes to see somebody else, they may be able to give her a more, a better solution for what's going on.
Well, and what I'd like too is, again, Sandra's in an ideal situation because her daughter comes to her. So then picture you've got at least an open, or a kid whose mind is open to getting therapy.
Right.
And then you've got, what? I'm going to talk to someone? I'm not doing that. And then you're like, yes, you are. And then you find the right person who your kid clicks with. And it can be, done discreetly. Insurance pays a lot of it. Found some really good coverage. I'm noticing that, where people can help pay. It can be done remotely. You don't have to go in. The kid's not on the sofa, laying there, like therapist.
What we envision.
Freud's like, tell me about your sexual dream about your mother. Like, oh my God, no.
You know what? I call in my troops, the big brothers and sisters. Like, I really do.
That's
I'll text
cool.
them.
You have a frigging nation over there.
I do. It's true. And they're all so different. And I think that has been helpful for my daughter, is knowing that her brothers tune into her sisters really tune into her. And just when something's up, if there's some turmoil going on,
support her.
I would text one of them and say, hey, will you just check on, and I think that's cool to remind our friends to do that, our family to do that.
If you don't have a family like that, how do you recreate that without it having to be biological blood family?
Right. So, what we do is I gave your girls, hers is at my house.
Yes, it's fine. It's good.
No, but it's kind of a cool thing. I wrote them all a note and said, here's what I've seen through the years of how you've changed. And I just want you to know, no matter what, I'm going to be there.
OMG. Jamie, that's beautiful.
Thanks. So I love them. I love those girls.
No, that's right. But
I
we have to remember
to be that one.
Thanks for saying it.
You can call them. You call me. Hey, call and check on them.
Did you know, and you know how I'm sorry to say this all this time, research-based evidence.
Why people like research.
There where there are 40 tools that they say a young adult should have by the time they leave for college.
Oh my God, I'm going to forget it after you say
40. Now, we're going to put this, we'll somehow put it in our link in our bio.
That's a good idea.
The searchinstitute.org, whatever, has 40 research-based tools that a kid should have. And most kids graduate from high school with about 20. Oh, wow. So I don't know when giving our kids a 50%
the Year award again
would be passing, 50% stop passing. Here's why I bring it up. And it's also a good toolkit to look at. One of the main ones is having other adults outside your family to whom you can reach when you are in an emotional, physical, whatever. These are people you lean into that are not 5. So if we could work on that, that would be so awesome. 5 adults.
Yeah. You know what? Let's commit to make that so between us and our and maybe
and your
others
peripheral
will tag
circles.
onto that.
That's right.
That's one of the things I was shocked about when one of the kids went off to rehab. That was one of the main topics of discussion.
Other adults?
Other adults. What other adults does your son have that he can turn to other than family? A coach, a teacher, a priest, someone.
That did come up.
That was one of the main things. And I remember thinking, that sucks.
Because you didn't feel like at the time.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And I don't think
This was your first one?
No, this
Okay,
is
so
the second research.
Yep.
More things
No,
popping up.
for sure.
But I will say to Ave, she's just gone through some really tough things. And I have said, you have to turn to God. No matter what,
Nice.
He is there for you.
That's
you stop and pray.
consistent.
Take a minute. And I think in the midst of all of this, the turmoil, the change, the fear.
Is she doing it?
I'm pretty sure she's doing it. She's good like that. But who knows, right?
Yeah,
Just a reminder to say, okay,
Yes.
so I would
Yes.
say we have God plus 5.
Yes.
Right?
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So we're going to do that. Let's challenge other moms to do that, and dads.
And
You know,
dads,
if you have a kid that's graduating,
I'm glad you
make
said
sure
that.
as they leave, let's do a little. Come on, it's not going to be like the ice bucket challenge, but it's not quite that fun. But hey, who's your extended tribe, right? Who's
Yep.
the next one over?
Yep. That is so good.
Yeah.
Just check in because sometimes we assume maybe we're like, oh, you have your aunt and you have your
I want this
grandma,
non-biological.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to
you
get
know,
outside of that.
Right. So it's like checking in with them and say, who do you think you can call or who do you think you'll go
Totally.
to?
Let's hear who they come up with
Yeah.
initially, right? That is how
Right.
I'm going to start my research.
What is something else? Now I'm all worried. 40 things.
Okay, on the 40 things, well, they're done in 6 categories, and that one is called like community, and then there's a second, and it has like 10 factors, and then there's education and things like you should be involved in school. Like I'm going to drop into the education one. You should be involved in something outside of the classes, or if you don't have a strong social support system, you need to get into an extracurricular. So those kind of kids will have less
Clubs and stuff like that.
yes,
Clubs, sororities, fraternities,
yes, just
sports.
get involved and
That's good advice because some kids are really shy. I know.
Well, and picture it. I mean, if you're going with a friend, some of our kids are going to
different.
go and they're going to have their friends. Others are going to go across the country. Does she talk about that? Like, who will I know and how will I get on there?
She's not really worried about that, but I tell you, the whole sorority fraternity thing, like, kids are, they get very
to rush
excited
or
about
not
that.
to rush? That is the
Dun-dun.
question.
Right. And so how would you deal, because that could be another spiral. They already have it's new, you're new to college, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
you think you're going to get into a sorority, but for whatever
God,
reason
more
you
rejection.
don't.
Here we go.
Rejection, dude.
Here it is again.
Right. And it's like,
How do you
at
get
that
rejected by
point-
your peers like that and let them, and you paid for it, or you?
Oh, you do. Here's,
I still get that
remember the
process.
rule.
It's not. We have never done that in our family, so I don't know anything about it, and I don't judge it except to know that it didn't seem like an attractive thing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's a big thing.
Not
my
everybody-
daughter wants to do it.
Yeah,
See?
mine does too. And it's brand new for me too. I mean, I was in a sorority for like a minute, but nobody told me what it really was. And then you had to pay these fees. And I was like, what? I can't afford that. I can't believe I'm even going to college. But, this is something important for us to remind our kids that not everybody's going to want to play with you on the playground, right? Rejection, not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
And man, you have to be okay with that. You have to look in the mirror and do the whole Mel Robbins, man. High five, I'm
she
great.
brings that up. We got to check that out.
Right.
You do. I saw her do something on her podcast the other day. It was some reel. She was like walking into her kitchen to pour a glass of wine. She was saying it went real fast. She had a glass of wine on the counter. She had a bottle of wine in her hand. I clicked on it. I'm like, that's my girl right here. And she's walking in. She goes, God, I've had a really hard day. I'm just going to pour this and I'll be fine. I'm thinking, yes, it sure will. And she walks right past it and she goes, nope, don't do it. Do something else. Do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, nope, not going to work for me.
That's
I was with you at
hilarious.
pour the wine, but
That's
She lost you at that.
she did.
You had me at hello.
Yeah.
Well,
But seriously, right?
some more
Rejection
stories-
is something.
It is.
It's
But
for
one
real.
of the things that when we were touring colleges, something that was really interesting to me was that the girl that was doing the tour said, she's like, you have the Greek life. She goes, but you don't have to be in the Greek life to have fun because there's so many other clubs and things that you
Okay.
can get into,
That's
which I
awesome.
thought was very good for her to bring up because maybe even if you don't get in, well, there's other stuff. It's not the end,
Yes,
right?
correct. So that's, you figure though that they're going to have to take risks in so many ways. And I love this the discussion about taking risks that are good risks, taking risks that are not good risks. So do I want to have you in a car after you've been drinking at a party? No, not a good risk.
Right.
Do I want you to go into a class where you know nobody and have your hand up as much as possible when the professor's asking questions? Yes. That's a great risk.
Yeah.
You know, both could end up tragically, but obviously, you know, I'm being more serious. Like there's a good conversation there. We can't miss that one either. You know, healthy risk versus unhealthy risk, healthy coping versus unhealthy coping as far as the toolkit.
Yeah.
And they're not going to want to hear a lot of it. So one idea is to print out that 40 tool list. It is free. It has been paid for.
That's just what I need is one more freaking list.
No, listen, the kid can like look and go like, yes, I have
kidding.
this
You
one,
guys,
this one, this one.
you guys have other ones at home.
We do. We do.
That is a good idea.
We
though.
do.
You know, I'm just,
yeah, she just boom, just chopped that idea right off.
want to do it right. But dang it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's almost like, how are they going to take it too? Like, oh God, now I got to go through this list.
All right, let's not do that.
Okay,
People.
no,
That's just
look
an
at
idea.
it.
Like, my God.
I think it's a great idea. It's just
That's
like,
probably why my kids freak out because I'm so intense like that. I need you to take this survey, calculate it. We're going to put it against the national norms, and we're going to see just how effed up you are.
oh,
Because you're a therapist kid.
wow. I'm so glad I'm not in that family.
Oh, are you kidding? I'm the one who always says every one of my kids are effed up. So, and it's my fault. I take the blame. I did all
So
that.
you don't have to
I
be a
did what I
therapist
could.
to mess your kid
Well,
up.
no, I always say when they're like, you're being mean, I was like, well, I'm just giving you something to talk about in therapy.
There you go.
Or how about we don't pay for college now? We only pay for your therapy.
There we go.
Because it's about as expensive.
That is the truth. That is the truth. And that's another thing. Kids are worried about money right now. You know,
Right?
you're about to, you don't want to say you're getting cut off, but you got to start, you got to
yes, mine has
Good
brought
one.
it up.
Yeah,
some
you
great-
now you got to take that phone bill. You got to look at that car entry. You got to do
Nice.
whether or not they
Talk
can
about
pay.
that toolkit. That's not the
Right.
fun one. That's the nuts and bolts one that they
That's
really need.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta have
they
that.
need both. They need
They
both.
do.
Yeah.
They do. But you got to know how to manage your life. That's life skills.
That is so
Yeah.
good. Well, so how many of you all like could you give them their bank account? Like here's your, here's the money for the month, and how well will they do it with it over the 30 days? Do you project?
Okay, is that with or without the phone call that says, "Mom, there's no money on my car"?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think it would be
correct.
great, but
No, I know.
there's no money on my card. Well, is it? Did it get wet? Is it melted? So you know what? I think mine would do okay. The other ones I could have done better with, but I
Yeah.
think mine.
I don't know. We opened up a checking account when she was like 7 because she had a
Right.
job walking a dog, and we saved the money and then
Such a go-getter, that
went
kid.
to the bank. But, and she has a job now, right? And she's been wanting to quit because she's like, it's the end of the year. There's parties. There's stuff
look
going
at these
on.
priorities.
And I was like, well, if you quit, you have no
Yeah.
spending money,
Ooh.
And so, I mean, we try, but like her account is linked to mine, and like I'll see -35, and I was like,
that too.
because it's a check cashing
Yeah.
card, and I was like, how did you get -35? And she was like, well, I don't know what happened. So yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of phone calls. We attempt it, but I think we still have a lot to work on there. And
Well, and that's a progression, right? You
Yeah.
gradually go and.
That's so cute, though, because I think they think they're ready, but they're going to really have those aha moments. And so that if we can, I don't know, just enjoy them messing up. Because like, if we think they're not going to have some screw ups, oh boy, moms,
yeah.
dads,
Yeah.
aunties, like, brace yourself, people. My
right.
mom used to say, small kids, small problems.
Right.
Big kids, big problems. And I had no idea what she was talking about until I had big kids. And then I was like, oh, crap.
right.
This is for real.
Yeah.
And I think it's the way, like when we talk about modeling, it's like if you're a parent who's responsible with money, or you kind of teach them, like,
Yeah.
I've been one of these people who don't always give them everything,
Yeah.
and
You
so
have good boundaries. That's what I'm learning
they
about
were
you,
like,
knowing you.
"Hey, can I buy this?" I was like, "Well, how much does it cost?" And sometimes I'll just say, "I can't afford it," and they're like, "But I really want it." Well, I can't afford it.
That's a good answer. I wish
Well,
I had.
it is, those
Good one,
lessons are.
Sandra.
And
Yeah.
sometimes, even if I can, I will say that, and I hope they're not listening. But because I want them to learn that sometimes if you can't afford it, you're going to have to learn how to distance yourself from it. Do you
Or
really
wait
need
and
it?
save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Right.
like it.
And
Yeah.
Ava's very good about that.
Yeah.
She's like, that is way too much.
Yeah.
I don't want it. And every now and again, I'm the one that says,
How do I
you know
have
what,
one
it's
kid
okay.
that realizes that and the other one doesn't? What have
I
I
think
done
it's like
differently? Because one will do that, like, oh no, that's just stupid. Like, we're not paying $800 for those Drake tickets. The
Right.
other one's right. Damn it.
Yeah.
And then the other one
It's learning,
is like,
isn't it?
oh,
I
let's
want
take out
it.
a loan. Yeah. He's a little younger.
That is hilarious.
We love all our kids.
Yes,
I know. They're great.
I know.
Well, I think that we're headed in the right direction. Are there going to be mishaps? Yeah. How do we handle it? We hope that we can handle it. I think one thing I've heard recently is some parents saying, I've prepared them for this. They're just going to have to go and figure it all out now. I wish I was good like that.
I know, it
She's
seems
an
so
adult, but
ballsy.
she's not ready to figure it all out yet. So I think,
Good
not
one.
all of it,
Yeah.
right? And that's what I think we as moms and parents struggle with. Where is that boundary? How much do we really let them fail?
Right.
And
it's
we need to.
scary.
We need
it's
to.
scary,
I
but
know.
at the same time, sometimes we have to say, well, I survived, or this is, I went out there and didn't know anything, but I still, I'm here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we may be worried about different things for them that we were worried about for us. There's just new drugs out there. I mean, that's
Yeah.
another conversation maybe
Yeah.
we talk about, but we just got to be so careful for them.
For sure. And the stay motivated part of, they're going to be going,
Motivation.
they're going to be going to school. That was it. That was the loop back around. We always eventually get there. Stay motivated. I know my ex, he put himself through school on a wrestling scholarship, and he had just had such drive and determination. And he tells all the kids a story about how he came out at he's a chemical engineer. He came out of a chemistry class or engineering and just sat on the side of the hill thinking, what am I doing? I'm not smart enough for this. I can't do it. And just cried. Like, am I going to be able to get through
One of the
this?
smartest guys I know.
I know.
right.
Yeah. And he was able to pull himself up by his bootstraps and
That's
get it done.
really
So
impressive.
I think it's important to, talk to our kids about, you're going to feel like you can't do it. I feel like I'm going to fail sometimes, but by golly, I know enough now to know I'm going to keep going.
Right.
But our kids don't. That failure, and you got to still stay
say it out
motivated
loud.
keep going.
Let's not forget to say that out loud. Thank you for saying that.
Right.
Just keep moving.
Just keep moving. That's right.
Oh,
Just
I love
keep moving.
it. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. So I think we should wrap with that.
Same, yeah.
Until the next episode.
Oof.
We
Good
got
times.
this. Yeah.
Peace out.
Thanks, ladies.
Ciao.
Bye.